Hello everyone, this is the Sports Spiral, and in today's video I'm going to review week 14 of the NFL. There's some great games this week, so yeah, let's start out with the Thursday game where the Rams handled the Patriots 24-3. The Rams have looked pretty good this year. They had the off year last year after their playoff Super Bowl run, but they're looking good this year. 9 of 16, 119 yards and an interception for Cam Newton. Goff threw for a touchdown and an interception, but Cam Akers for the Rams had a really good game with 171 yards, and that helped lead the Rams to the victory 24-3, and playoff hopes are looking not like they're going to happen. It does not look like the Patriots are going to get into the playoff. Okay, then we had a surprising game. I thought the Bears-Texans matchup would be a much closer one. I actually think I picked the Texans in this one because the Bears have not looked good recently. But the Bears win 36-7. A lot of offense, and their defense looked good too. Trubisky was actually good in this game, throwing for 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. Defense was great, forcing Watson to just 1 touchdown pass. And the running game for Chicago was even good. Montgomery rushed for 113 and a touchdown. So it's a nice performance from the Bears, but coming too late in the season. They're 6-7 and not seeming like they're gonna make the playoffs. Okay, then we have the Tennessee Titans versus the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Titans blew out the Jags. The Jags have been hitting around in the past few games, but the Jaguars get blown out here, 31-10. 2 touchdowns for Tannehill. Henry rushes for 215 and 2 touchdowns. He is looking really good this year. A touchdown for Gardner Minshew, who actually played this game along with Mike Glennon, so they kind of alternated. And they are going to start him next week, but I just don't think that can change too much. They need a quarterback and a whole lot of other things. So yeah, the Jags and the Jets still are the worst teams in the league. Okay, then we have the Cowboys beating the Bengals big. I thought the Cowboys would win this one, but they looked really good in this game. 30-7, 2 touchdowns for Andy Dalton. Elliott rushes for 48 yards. Nothing too spectacular from him. On defense, they do a pretty good job. Bengals quarterback Allen throws for 27 and 36, 217 and a touchdown. So yeah, pretty good defense and a pretty good game from the Cowboys, and we've not been able to say that many times this season. Okay, then we have what people are thinking what's going to be a pretty good game, and what's a pretty good game. The Chiefs win versus the Dolphins 33-27 in a close one. They move to 12-1 and are probably so now with the 12-1 record, they're probably the best team in the league. Mahomes was not Mahomes in this one. He threw for 393, 2 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions. They may or may not have been his fault. Yeah, lots of tips and stuff. That weren't his fault. Tagovailoa Tua was good. 2 touchdowns and an interception for Tua, and Tyreek Hill actually. It's the top rusher for the Chiefs. I'm looking at the stats. 1 carry for 32 yards and a touchdown. So yeah, that's not very good for the Chiefs. But Travis Kelce had a big game, and the Chiefs were actually up 30-10 at one point. But then the Miami Dolphins came back, and they are looking like a great team all around, looking like they can make the playoffs. Okay, then the Cardinals won big over the New York Giants. The New York Giants have been looking good in their past few games. I thought this would be a close one, but the Cardinals and a 3-game losing streak. One touchdown for Kyler Murray. Drake rushes for 80 yards. And good defense. Daniel Jones was 11 of 21 for 127. And yeah, the Giants couldn't get too much of anything going there. Then we have the Vikings versus the Buccaneers, who the Buccaneers haven't been looking as good recently, and the Vikings look like they had a chance at the playoffs, but losing this one 26-14 is not going to help the Vikings as they move to 6-7. One touchdown pass for Kirk Cousins and 102 yards and a touchdown from Cook. So it doesn't look too bad offensively, but they only put up 14 points. But Tom Brady had a good game, 15 of 23 for 2 touchdowns. Jones had a good game running the football, 80 yards and a touchdown. And the Buccaneers are 8-5, looking like they have a solid chance of making the playoff. But who knows? Because the wild card and all that stuff. So yeah, then we have the Broncos. They put up a lot of points. This was a more high-scoring matchup than I expected. They went 32-27 and moved to 5-8. Drew Lock was really good in this game. Threw for 4 touchdowns. Teddy Bridgewater was good, but he just couldn't get enough. That Panther defense just couldn't stop the Broncos. And Davis rushed for 2 touchdowns for the Panthers because they had McCaffrey out. So, yeah, the Broncos win that one. Then we had the Colts winning big against the Las Vegas Raiders, 44-27. 2 touchdowns for Philip Rivers. 2 touchdowns, a fantastic game from the rookie Jonathan Taylor. 2 touchdowns and 150 yards from him. Derek Carr was picked off twice, but he also threw for 2 touchdowns. And yeah, the Raiders are starting to look like they're going to miss the playoff. They haven't looked good recently. They moved to 7-6. They were kind of like this last year. They're a really up and down team. But the Colts are much more consistent and looking like they have a very solid chance of making the playoff. And yeah, the one thing I've seen is that this Raiders defense, it's not very good. That's, I think, one thing you can take away. Their offense, it's not bad at all, but yeah, defense, it's not good. Okay, I thought the Jets could keep this one a little closer because, like the past game, they only lost by 3. But the Seahawks were all over the Jets, 40-3, 4 touchdowns and an interception for Russell Wilson, 76 yards and a touchdown for Carson, the running back, and it was a great game for Seattle all around. And the Jets are still winless. Looking at their remaining games right now, do I think they will finish winless? They have the Rams, the Browns, and the Patriots. I don't think so. So yeah, the Jets are really struggling. Then we have the Packers winning a close one over the Lions. The Lions have not been too bad. I know they fired their coach. They lost a big one on Thanksgiving to the Texans, and that was why. But since then, they haven't looked bad at all. They've looked decent. So they give a fight to the Packers here. Rodgers throws for 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns. He's looking really good. Matthew Stafford for the Lions throws for a touchdown. And yeah, so the Lions are 5-8, and the Packers are 10-3, looking like a really solid team. Then we have an upset. The Eagles beat the Saints 24-21. This is Jalen Hurts' first start, and he was pretty good. He threw for a touchdown. Nothing too spectacular there, but he had a great running game. Let me look at the stats. He had 18 carries for 106 yards. And yeah, they ran all over the Saints. Sanders, 14 carries for 115 and 2 touchdowns. So yeah, like 200 plus rushing yards there. Taysom Hill wasn't bad. He threw for 2 touchdowns and an interception. Alvin Kamara was pretty good, rushing for 50 yards and a touchdown. But yeah, it's obvious that the Saints need Breeds back. I don't know if they'll get them back this season. But the Eagles, I think, do have a future with Jalen Hurts. Okay, then we have the Chargers. This is kind of an upset over the Falcons. They moved to 4-9 with the win. The Chargers have not looked good this season, but Justin Herbert has given them some bright spots. He threw for 2 touchdowns and an interception. And the big thing here is the Chargers defense that had struggled this season. But they picked off Matt Ryan 3 times. Ryan 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions. So a good game from the Chargers there to move it to 4-9. Okay, this is kind of bigger than the win over the Steelers for the Washington football team. Here versus the 49ers, the win versus the 49ers, we can see they are indeed the best team in their division currently, and they do look like they are going to be good enough to get to the playoff, and they are the real deal. The offense was not great though. Smith threw for an interception, and but they did a good job on defense, and Chase Young's playing well, the rookie, and Nick Mullins for the 49ers, a touchdown and an interception. So yeah, good defense, the highlight from this one, to get the Washington football team to a 23-15 win over San Francisco. Okay, then we have the Sunday night game, and the Steelers are going to drop 2 in a row. They looked sloppy again, probably the 3rd straight game that they've looked sloppy. And they lose 26-15 to the Bills. Kind of big, 11 points. And the Bills are now 10-3, looking like a really good team. Roethlisberger was not great. 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and not much of a running game for the Steelers. For Connor, 10 carries and only 18 yards. And then for the Buffalo Bills, they were able to score some points on the Steelers. Allen threw for 2 touchdowns and an interception. So yeah, the Bills are looking good, and the Steelers starting to struggle. Yes, they are going to make the playoffs most likely, unless something ridiculous happens. I think they're actually locked in it already. So yeah, they're in the playoffs, but if they keep this kind of playoff, it'll be interesting to see if they survive the playoffs. Then we had a Monday night game, which was really good. The Ravens versus the Browns. And in the first half, one major thing is that Lamar Jackson was sliding around. When he was trying to run, sometimes he would be able to run for a few yards, but he had bad cleats in the Cleveland turf. So, yeah, but then they got it fixed, and then the second half happened. Lots of points being scored in the second half. And then Lamar Jackson got injured, and they had to bring in Trace McSorley, who wasn't doing the best. I guess they weren't able to use RG3 because he was injured from that Steelers game. But then Jackson comes back out at the 2-minute warning. And, oh yeah, Trace McSorley got injured. That's why he came back out. He comes back out at the 2-minute warning and leads the Ravens to victory 47-42. A high-scoring game, perhaps the best game yet this season. The Ravens, this was a really important game for them. They would have moved to 7-6 if they lost this, and now they still have playoff hopes. They're 8-5 now, and the Browns, this show's still legit. Yeah, they look good in this game. Even though they lost, they still look good. Scored 42 points on the Ravens defense that it's regarded as pretty good, and not like flashy stats for Jackson through the air. 163 yards and a touchdown, but he doesn't need flashy stats through the air because he rushed the ball 9 times for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns. Baker Mayfield was good, 343 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. And Chubb was pretty reliable too, 82 yards and 2 touchdowns. So a great game from both teams, really. And yeah, this is the best game yet in the season. So that's going to do it for this video. Please make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video. You can check out some of my other reviews. I do both college football and NFL on this channel. So yeah, that's going to do it for this video. This is the Sports Spiral. Bye.